Welcome to installment 2 of our Lowell's Boat Shop video updates. It is Saturday, the first Saturday in March, whatever that date is, the 5th of March. We are here because there's a class downstairs, and I'll take you down to show you that. But I'll first start up here and update you on our projects, our winter projects that are ongoing. So over here, whatever state this was last in, it's further along, I hope. This is a 17-foot surf dory. It's got one more. This is the shear plank for this side. I've left it off. It's been made, but I've left it off for the moment because I have to make floorboards, and in my old boat builder wisdom, it's a lot easier to make the floorboards without having to reach over all of the planking. So I can make the floorboards at my leisure at a good height and then put that plank on and keep moving on with the boat. In this case, the floorboards are going to be varnished, and so making those now and getting the varnishing process going early is going to be a little more helpful at the end for pushing this project out the door in a timely manner. Over here, we've got a couple of planks here on our Chamberlain gunning dory. Again, this is for a customer in Nantucket, and so this is traditionally planked in cedar, and we are doing that here with cedar, 1/2-inch cedar. The actual plan calls for 7/16 cedar, which is really extraordinarily light. And the boat that John Gardner took the lines from was a true Chamberlain boat, but the scantlings, meaning the size of the pieces of wood and the dimensions of the pieces of wood used to make it, were extraordinarily light. And so we're just building this just a touch heavier so that it's a little bit more rugged. But one of the issues that we run into is that this plank here, per the plans, calls for a piece of cedar this wide, which is about 8 or 10 inches wide. And it's really difficult to find that cedar in that kind of quality these days. So what we've had to do is take this second plank and divide it into 2 smaller planks because of the stock that we had. And that's one of those builder's license kind of deals that you have that you can take advantage of. And in this case, it will, if anything, it will only add to the beauty of the boat in that you'll have more plank lines, more straight lines to see, which is pretty cool. So this is a beautiful thing. Again, even though it's being built a little bit more ruggedly than the plans call for, it is still going to be a very, very light boat. The frame spacing is pretty wide. It's going to end up being about 20 feet, and it will be extraordinarily light, again, because cedar is a light wood. Moving along over here, we like to call this place Kinetic because it changes all the time. So previously there had been a Haven 12.5 here that we've moved to the back of the shop, and that boat's kind of awaiting its, how should we call it, its foreman to return. So John Noon, who's been leading the kids in this build, just had 2 knees replaced, and so this boat is kind of on hold until he gets back to work with it with the kids. But our next move here is to figure out how to steam that combing into place over there. That's just a rough pattern. We have to take a big piece of oak, steam it around there, and I think we're a little daunted by that, but that's okay. Over here, this boat, this is a 20-foot, I guess you'd call it like a sport dory. So it's dory built, but it's got an engine well in the back. This was donated to us by a family in New Jersey, and we are restoring it for our own use. This is going to be our new chase boat. We're going to put a tow post in it, which none of our chase boats to date have had. And this is sort of the pet project of one of our apprentices, William. He's going to set it up with a center console. And thanks to the Fleet Wing Foundation, we have a new outboard coming for it. So this is going to be on the water looking pretty, and is going to be very representative of the shop this summer. Right here, for all of you wooden boat readers, this is the power rudder that we built for Mayflower Shallop. So if you look in the most recent Wooden Boat magazine, there's an article that I wrote about building this rudder. And you can also find us in 2 places in the launching section. But unfortunately last October, when we had that big storm and it blew 80 something knots on the dock down in Plymouth, the shallop broke its lines and went stern first into a dolphin, which snapped the head off of the rudder. Luckily, none of the mechanicals or the wiring got affected, but just the head fell off. So what we've done is scarfed in a new upper piece here, and then we're going to put oak cheeks on that go much further down to strengthen and reinforce the whole thing. And that will be ready to go for this summer. And moving along, so this is an ever-changing room as well. This boat here is in for paint, and this job is being done by one of our graduate apprentices, Anya George. She's just a recent college graduate up in New Hampshire, and she's coming down to help us out and paint that. She's been working with a boat builder up there for the last year or two, and we are extraordinarily proud of her and her skill level. I'm glad that she's here to help us out. And then this is actually my brother-in-law's boat, but it was here for a new plank and a bottom assessment, and the assessment on the bottom was that it was no good. And so we ended up cutting the bottom off of it entirely, and now we've made a new plywood bottom, and this will go down next week and get all glassed in, and when this boat is done, it will be just like new. So we have a big wide open space that will soon be filled with some other boat that needs some other bit of work, and I'll take you downstairs. We'll go look at the class that's going on right now. This class is being taught by Bob Fuller of South Shore Boat Works. He's largely known for, or the company is known anyway, for making ship's wheels, but he will be here in, well, a couple of weeks anyway, maybe a little bit longer than that, to do a class on pattern making. So his father was a pattern making for casting, and he learned from his father, and he's going to come here and teach a class where you make your pattern, and then we can take it downtown to the local foundry and they'll actually cast from your pattern. It's nice and warm. So this is the class here. This is what they're making. Plymouth rocker. A nice little toy for young kids. So everyone here is making their own. And this is what it looks like. Also in this room is this Dory being built by our high school apprentices. Again, this is thanks to the H. Patterson Hale Foundation. We are rebuilding, well, I guess we're replacing some of our dories outside with new dories being built by our apprentices. So that's what's going on. We'll check in with you maybe in a month.